Hello, this is Noreen from Joya Cards. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more Stampin' Up! Card videos, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's right down there. And when you subscribe, hit that little ring button, and you'll be the first to be notified when I post new videos. So anyway, today we are doing my today's tile thank you card. So we're going to be using Ornate Thanks. We're going to use the thank you from there. Of course, today's tiles. And we're going to be using two sets of dies, the Ornate Layers, and we're going to be using this one here. And then Field Tile, which we're going to be using this one there. So let's go ahead and get started. And this is pretty simple with a couple of little tricks. So we're going to take a piece of Daffodil Delight. It's 5.5 by 4 1/4, kind of normal. And then we're going to take a piece of Shimmer White, and we're going to be using that for the top. But let's go ahead and do the inside of the card because the inside is pretty easy. So all we're going to be doing is taking a piece of Pacific Point, and we're going to cut it 5 1/4 by 4 and go ahead and snail that up. I'm going to take the die from Field Die here and cut out a piece in Daffodil Delight, and then take your Pacific Point ink, and we're going to be stamping the sentiment from Ornate Thanks. Both of the sentiments are from Ornate Thanks. So the thank you, and this one is for everything. So, and I like to stamp my stamps on the pad here instead of off. I think they connect better with the stamp pad when you do that. And I want to make sure this is pretty bright. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that right there. All right. And then go ahead and put it on your card. Make sure that you don't run your finger across it and smear the ink. So, and just put that on right there. So that's like super easy. So let's go ahead and do the front. The first thing we're going to start on the front is this thank you. Now, I'm going to use the Stamparatus the rest of the time, both for the stamp here and the sentiment. So go ahead and line up your thank you on your Stamparatus. Take some Pacific Point and get a nice big piece of Daffodil Delight here. And the reason why we're using the Stamparatus is I want the sentiment to be really dark. And if you just stamp it with a block, it'll only be about that dark. Maybe you'll get a little darker, but that's not dark enough. So if you do it on your Stamparatus, you're going to have to ink it up a few times, but you get a really nice dark thank you. I'll even go for it one more time and give it just one more. And just a little trick here, if you put your stamp box underneath your plate here, then you can really get a good stamp and it doesn't move around a lot. So just put it underneath there. So now that we're done inking, now we're going to cut it with the die. So this is the die we're going to use from Ornate Layers. And I want to, obviously it's bigger than what we've got here. And that's because I tricked it. So I'm going to line this up about right here. And we're going to cut it, and then we're going to cut it again. And I'm going to tape this down because I don't want it to move. And when you're taping down, make sure that you're taping like the die and either the paper you're not going to use or the outside layer, so you're not having to pull the tape over the paper just in case it pulls. I happen to be using some yellow frog tape because they decided to make the purple tape terrible now, so I've had to find other things. So I'm going to go cut this, and I'll be right back. So when you get it where you want the spacing to be, especially on top and the bottom of this, then you have to look inside the circles. When you see it clear right through, then you know you've got it on the right spot. So you have to be really careful and place it on your cutting pad here and tape it down here and here. So I'm going to cut this again. I'll be right back. So now we've got that third side, we need to do the fourth side. Also make sure that there are no little pieces of paper inside your little circles there. And also take a scraper and scrape off any of those little circles on your cutting pad, because that, if one of those circles gets on your tag, it will make an impression and look bad. So anyway, so the last part, because this particular die has a stitch here, so it's very important that it's in the inside of the card and not the outside of the card. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to line it up on the edge here and find that open circle again where I want it. So I have it lined up. I'm going to push it down here again and untape it. And I'm going to cut it. I'll be right back. And this is the tag that we ended up with. So now we're going to go and move on to the tiles printing. So let's get our Stamparatus out again. You definitely have to use the Stamparatus when you do this project, because you just have to. There's just no way you can do this with a block and get the color intensity that you're going to want without using the Stamparatus. So go ahead and line this up. Now I lined it up so I got this print on each end and blank in the middle. So I have it going this direction, which is landscape. So, and I already lined this up so it would hit right where it should. And that's the other advantage to the Stamparatus. Make sure when you're lining things up, your stamps are clean, and then you line it up and then you can start inking. So the first color we're going to use is going to be Pacific Point. And we're going to be using this on the base of the color. So the one that's not the backup, the one that has more of a stamp to it than the other one does. So let's go ahead and ink this up. And you're going to see right away why I'm using the Stamparatus. So let's go ahead and push this down. And you can see, and that's what's going to happen if you use a block too. This is just a very detailed stamp. So you have to use the Stamparatus. So if you don't have one, go to my Stampin Up site, NoreenBrungart.stampinup.net. And I know it says August host code, and it's actually still August when I'm filming this, and it's not quite September yet, so I'll have that in a couple of days. So you can email me, Noreen@joyofcards.com as well, and I can get you the September host code. So, and if you do order $150 from my Stampin Up site, not only do you get the rewards, so don't use a host code when you're buying that much product, but I will also send you a stamp of your choice from either the mini catalog or the annual catalog. And that's my September special. So you order that much, and I know when people order, and then I will contact you and I'll get your information, and whichever stamp you want, it's $21 or less from the catalog, and I'll send it out to you. So you can see how many times I stamp this to get the intensity that I want. This is why you need the Stamparatus. So there you go. Now we're going to take this off and we're going to switch it around. So peel it off, put it in that same exact spot, just turned around, and line it up on your Stamparatus. Another great thing about the Stamparatus is that, you know, you've got all these lines to match everything up, so you know where everything goes. And then we're going to take some more of that Pacific Point that I happen to be wearing all over my hands. And we're going to start stamping this side. I'm still stamping my stamp. I'll also tell you that I do give away the demo card. So if you're a first-time subscriber and you write a comment in my video here and says, I like your card, and you give me your email address, you have to give me your email address. If you don't give me your email address, you can't win the card because I can't talk to you. So if you give me your email address, I will email you back, get your mailing address, and I will send this card to you in the mail. And that goes with all my demo cards. If you know anybody who's new and who wants to win a card, then they can get one as well. So, and I just want this really, really dark. I know it sounds crazy, but I like it really, really dark. So I'm going to continue to stamp here and get the intensity that I want. Now that I've got that color done, I'm going to take my Balmy Blue and the coordinating stamp, the background to this one, and I've already had it lined up because I've done this card before. So I had it already lined up, and you can, when you put this over the other one, when you're lining it up, you can see where it's going to match. So I've already done that. So all we have to do is do that. And we're going to stamp this a bunch of times just like we did the other one. I think that's good for this side on the balmy blue. Now I'm going to just pull this up and flip this over and line this up how I had it before, like on the other side. So I already flipped over the paper. Now I'm going to take that balmy blue again and do the background for the other side. Now we've done our stamps here, and you notice there's a little splurch there, but that's okay because we're going to be covering that up, so don't worry about that. We're going to take our light Mango Melody blending pen, and I'm going to take the pointy side, and everything that's white in the middle of these squares, I'm going to color in with this yellow. So I'm going to color these all in, and I'll be right back. Now that you've colored in all the yellow and the little white spaces, let's go ahead and snail this up and put it on our card. And of course, you always open up the card and match it to the end first, like so. All right, now let's go ahead and grab some dimensionals and put our sentiment on. So I'm going to grab these and put them on. The last part is we're going to add these color enamel dots, the 2020-22. I love these dots. They are fantastic. The only issue I have is you really have to get your fingernail under the dot, because what it is, it's a colored dot with a clear dome on it. So there's a little sticker underneath. And if you don't get your fingernail right under that sticker, the clear dome will pop off and there's no getting it back on. You can try to glue dot it, it just kind of looks terrible. So you really have to make sure that you get your fingernail underneath there. In fact, on my card kit that you can still get, because there's a September card kit, I give you some extra ones just in case you accidentally pull that dome off. So I'm going to finish putting these on. I'll be right back. And that's the card. So if you like it, please subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're a first-time subscriber, and you could win the demo card. Just write me a comment with your email and I'll get you a address and you can get the card for free. But that's it. Thank you very much. Bye.